Hi guys, my name is Kashif Iqbal, and in this tutorial we're going to be looking at how to make your Vox Pops pop using Lumetri Colour. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into Colour. So this is the Colour workspace. Make sure I've got my scopes here. So if your Lumetri scopes aren't up, you can go to the window at the top and go to Lumetri Colour scopes, and that'll bring up the scopes. I'm just going to warm up the image ever so slightly. So I'm going to hold on this cursor here. I just want to basically increase this ever so slightly. That'll do. So just a very subtle increase, and what that'll do is it'll just brought the color back into the building here in the greens. And I'm just going to bump this up ever so slightly as well. There we go. If you see the vector scopes here, it shows that this area is overexposed, as it's touching the 255 limit here. Now, as this is going on social media, I'm not too fussed about it being blown out in terms of actually getting it out there. But wherever you can fix any issues, you should try to, just because it'll make your footage look a lot better, unless that was the look that you're going for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the highlights down. So I'm going to drag and then hold Command. And I basically want to get this to about here. So I brought the highlights down there. So it's kind of killed that really bright areas up here, which is what I wanted. It's brought some detail back. And the next thing that I want to do is I want to basically decrease the shadows. So I want to try and bring that as close down to 0 that I can, just so that the dark areas look dark in the image. So again, I'm just going to pull back and then I'm going to hold Command. Good. Again, I'm going to bring down the whites. Good. I'm happy with that. So again, that's kind of killed that background overexposure there. And again, I'm going to just come down on the blacks until it comes down to that 0 level. Perfect. Okay, so if you look at the scopes, this is what we had before. So we had the brighter areas of the image here. We had the bright areas of the image were really bright. And then we didn't really have too much detail in the shadows. So what I've done is I've just kind of evened that out a little bit. I've killed off the extensive highlight detail that we had there, and this is the sort of look that I'm going for. You might want a more of a contrasted look, so you might want to increase the highlights if that's the look that you were going for. As you can see there, that gives it a bit more punch, but for this particular look, I really liked this look, so this is what I'm going to be going for. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into the creative section, and I'm just going to increase the saturation as well. So if I go crazy, as you can see what it's doing, it's bringing up the greens and the colour. But I just literally want to go about there. That is fine, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go to curves now. So I like to do this once I've done it, just to give it a tiny bit of a lift. I'm just going to cross the shadows again without going crazy. Good. So as you can see, just a little lift there. And so what we've done is let's just switch off each area. So we've gone from this flat image, which is a bit overexposed. We've sorted the overexposure out. We've decreased the shadows on the black areas. We've added a bit of saturation, and we've just made it pop just that tiny little bit. I'm happy with that. That's pretty much good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add a vignette. Now in Premiere Pro, if you increase the vignette to the plus side, you get more of a bright vignette. So this is good for like dream sequences or weddings. And then if you go the opposite way, you get a darker vignette. So I'm just going to bring this down a bit. So that's if I go totally, I'm happy about there. Now the midpoint basically is where you define where exactly the vignette's going to really be pinpointing where the bright area is. So I'm happy around there because I want the focus to be really much on David and what he's saying. I'm going to bring that in a bit, which is the roundness. And I'm just going to increase the feather Great. So the feather is basically the softness around the edges. So can you see here, it goes really harsh. That's essentially what I've created, but look what the feather does. It just softens that out really nicely. And there you have it. So let's just quickly look at the before and after. So that's without, that's with, that's without, that's with. Now finally what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some widescreen bars to this. So I'm just going to click on the new item button, click on the adjustment layer, click OK, pop that on top, go to my effects panel, go to crop, so you can type this in. And what I'm going to do is I want to adjust the bottom and the top. So I'm going to bring up my safe margins as well. So basically there's two crop sizes that I like to use. One is to this bottom line here and one is to this top one here. So if you want the bottom one, find a value of 5 works fine. So if I just get rid of the safe margins, you've got your bars there. If you wanted something a bit more cinematic, then you would go for 10. So 10 there and 10 there. And this gives it more of a widescreen sort of look. Now, what I would probably do as well is I'd probably knock down David's head a bit here if I did go for this. So again, I'll hold the top, hold Command, bring him down. Great, fantastic. And there you go. That's just a quick way to spruce up your Vox Pop footage. So my technique here, my approach is very, very simple. It's darken the darks and just make sure that your highlights are okay. And then just add a little bit of saturation if required, especially if you're shooting on a wide dynamic range profile. And then if need be, for this particular thing, a vignette worked. You don't always have to use that. You don't want to overkill it, definitely. But for this particular one, it worked, therefore I used it. And then finally, just kind of add the finishing touches with the widescreen bars. And you can then take this, if you shot at the same location, you can then copy and paste this to the interviews, and you have something that looks really, really nice. So I hope that was useful, and I'll see you on the next tutorial.